I think there's something in the world today that you never, when you're done buying something that you saved up money for, it's almost impossible to get the best of it, right? And so your mountain bikes, my mountain bike too. It's like I always wish it was that one stage better than the one that I have. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 28, the ninth week, the second video of the ninth week. And this is a how episode. So we do a how episode, or a why episode, then we do a how episode, then we do hopefully an interview that's entertaining and interesting to you. This is my friend Justin. Justin is here in the Trout Lake Camps podcast studios, world famous, by the way. And we are trying to figure out how we can sin less today than we did yesterday. We're trying to train our hearts to reflect Jesus. In I don't know. It's hard to explain here as we get going today. Looking at Romans 8:13, if by the Spirit ye mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. I got to be honest. Uh, Camp life. So I'm a camp director. I explain who I am a little bit on occasion, but I haven't gone into huge amounts of details. But I basically work at a camp in Minnesota that has three camps going on at the same time in the summer. It doesn't matter what time it is and wherever it is, whatever time of year it is where you're listening. But where we are just coming off of 2 weeks of staff training and our first week of summer camp. And we can do about 500 first through eighth graders on the grounds at a time in these three camps. And so we have about 180 college staff that are running around right now. And we just spent 2 weeks of training, followed by a week of the first week of camp, which is all craziness, getting everything in place and everything going. And I got to be honest, walking around with the Sinless clipboard that I have and checking off what's going on was more than I can do. And again, we're talking lots and lots and lots of hours that it takes to get camp up and running and all that kind of crazy stuff. But I will say this: these stones, and I've said this a couple times. These stones in my pocket have been just wonderful as a fidget to kind of keep me focused on. Hey, I'm doing Sinless today. I've lost my clipboard because I'm carrying around staff manuals and carrying around 3 different schedules for the camps, and I've got a lot going on. But these have been wonderful in my pocket, and just kind of going back and forth and keep playing with them and keep going. Okay, my job today, even though I've got a lot going on, is to stay away from the things that God doesn't want me to do, the flesh, the black stone, and lean towards the things God wants me to do, peace and life. And so again, I highly recommend you find a couple stones and you stick them in your pocket, and you keep getting used to them there for the days that the clipboard's just too much. And we just got to be honest, those of us that are doing it at camp, the last couple weeks, the clipboard's just been too much. But I have been kind of keeping an eye on things in my brain and kind of doing a little count and kind of going, hey, where am I still sitting? Where am I going wrong? And so I want to go back to the last episode of How that we talked about. And I said, hey, I'm going to take away some of the things on the list and I'm really going to just focus on a few. Honestly, that didn't work at all. And honestly, by the end of the last couple of weeks, I actually have put a new heading in my sin list because I've been frustrated a little bit from time to time with how this is working and a lack of improvement, but still kind of a continual thing. And what I've realized is if I can take and add to this and just make one line for whatever this internal thought process is that I'm doing wrong, and start to monitor that internal thought versus the externals, what I'm doing, and kind of put that in its own category, whether it's I've got bad attitude in my brain or bad prideful things in my brain that I'm talking about, or just irritations that I shouldn't have. If I've got lust or sinful thoughts in my brain along those lines that I'm not saying or doing anything about, but it just have those moments of, oh, that was bad. I'm basically what I'm trying to do is just kind of make that a whole category of those things that are happening inside. And when I tried to stop writing down or being mindful of those other sins, it actually didn't work because I'd kind of gotten into this habit of being mindful of those things like envy, let's say. I my daughter's husband's dad was here, and he has a lovely enduro motorcycle. Are you're not a motorcycle guy, are you?
No, I like my mountain bike, but motorcycles freak me out.
Motorcycles freak you out. So I grew up on motorcycles as a kid. And so way back in the 1900s and the 80s, I had this motorcycle. My family would go driving around. We had snowmobiles and we'd go driving around. Eventually, as an adult, I finally had enough funds that I was able to buy four-wheelers for me and my children when they were teenagers. We started to four-wheeling and stuff like that. But my daughter's father-in-law, he bought an Enduro, a Honda, that you can take on trails like I used to when I was a kid. And he came up to camp and he was kind of helping us do some fixing some freezers and stuff like that because that was what he used to do before he retired. And honest to goodness, I've never been so jealous of somebody in my life. Yeah, I like my four-wheeler, but where we go riding the four-wheelers when we take a break and we get away a few times a year, there's these amazing motorcycle trails. They're two-wheel trails. They're not four-wheel trails, and they look amazing. And so he was at camp and he was helping out. And one night where I'm running around camp getting things ready, he pulled out his motorcycle and started driving around. And I'm so jealous and so irritated about it because I want one so bad, but I have a four-wheeler, right? And so I find that the next time I was on my computer, I was searching, well, how much does that motorcycle cost that he owns, right? And I don't know, it's impossible to get the perfect mountain bike, right?
Yeah, and it's impossible with the budget I have.
Yeah. And so you've got these things. So I have a four-wheeler. I have a four-wheeler. It is a very good four-wheeler, a Polaris 850. It rides beautifully. It's like riding a couch through the woods. I enjoy it so much, and I don't need anything but that. I barely use that as much as I should. But I kind of want a motorcycle, and it's just like I kind of want it, and I know I shouldn't. It's kind of like when you always want that different other thing, and even though you've got those things, it's kind of not fair. I don't know if I've told this story on this yet, but I've talked to staff about this. My sister, when I was a kid, way back in the day, when this is in the 80s, my sister wanted a bicycle. She wanted a 10-speed bike. And not quite the mountain bikes of today, but it was a road bike for going around town. And when she went to Kmart, when she went to Kmart's like Walmart, but the early version. She went to Kmart and went to buy the bike that she had saved up from babysitting money, and she saved up for everything. I can remember it was this tan-colored bike, and it had orange and I think green on it. And it was this great bike. And when she brought it home, she was so happy that she had bought her own bike. I mean, she was so excited about it. And what was really cool about those days back in the day is when you went to Kmart and you bought that bike, you bought what you thought was the best bike available. Maybe there was maybe one bike shop in the big city up the town, somewhere where they sold expensive bikes, but you got the greatest bike you'd ever seen before from Kmart. And so one of the problems I think is in the world today is there's constantly, even when I get that new thing, well, I only got the $1,000 one. I didn't get the $3,000 one, or I didn't get it with the extra memory pack, or I didn't get it with the super brakes, or I didn't, and I think there's something in the world today that you never, when you're done buying something that you saved up money for, it's almost impossible to get the best of it, right? And so your mountain bikes, my mountain bike too, it's like I always wish it was that one stage better than the one that I have, and that's that weird thing about when we just envious of what people around us have, or we get this thing and it should be plenty for us and we're never satisfied with it, right? And so part of that's my internal voice. Every time he goes by with this motorcycle, I'm just like, oh man, I wish I had only two wheels so I could do these other trails that I can't do now. In all honesty, I've got a really good four-wheeler, and so it's such a dumb thing, that envy. It wastes weird energy. It wastes weird time. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, a way that I've checked myself is when I lose the ability to be excited for someone else.
Oh yeah.
That's when I kind of pump the brakes and go, well, there's a problem, because I'm not like happy for the person having a cool four-wheeler or a cool dirt bike.
Yep. So I should be happy that he's got one.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is difficult.
Yeah,
because
it's
I
super
want
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, that is super difficult. Well, back to what we're saying. So basically, I'm trying to figure out how to work on that internal thought and internal process. It's not like I went up and knocked him down off the bike and stole it, right? Although, wait a minute, I could hit him with my four-wheeler and knock him, and then change bikes.
Yeah, you would win. I mean,
yeah,
that's an 850.
Yeah, I would win. 850 versus like a 200. I'd have the ability, but I didn't. For the record. But that's kind of what we're talking about here in this sinless piece. As we're maybe it's just becoming more aware of that internal thought, or more aware of the way we're walking around. Like I said, I tried to lessen the list, but it didn't work. And it's because I'm being pretty mindful of when I'm like, oh, I want that bike, or oh, I want that other thing, or I'm getting sidetracked. And so today, got kind of caught on that sidetrack there. Today, I want to start to look at those 7 deadly sins, because we're in this how episode and we've kind of listed them, but I want to start to go through them. And so I want to actually take a step back, because Proverbs 6, 16 through 19 actually has a listing of 7 sins in it. King Solomon, writing the Proverbs, kind of stops and he says the following. He says, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. Okay, 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, okay, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood. Man, I was almost going to shed innocent blood for the motorcycle. I got to be more careful.
Four-wheelers that draw innocent blood.
Yeah, four-wheelers that run over innocent people. A heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness that pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Okay? And so what's haughty? Haughty eyes. Haughty, haughty eyes. What's the definition of that?
I think it's like boastful, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's just jumping out at me right now. But yeah, a lying tongue, shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that run into evil, a false witness that pours out lies. There's kind of a connection there, a lying tongue and a false witness that pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. I'm going to go to the ESV here, and my J.I. Packer study Bible. He has this note on the front side of Proverbs 6 through 19. And again, I want to be clear. This isn't the 7 deadly sins, but this is a biblical point of a listing of 7 sins, okay, that King Solomon does on behalf of God in presenting this in this proverb, right? And so 6:16, the study note in the ESV Study Bible from my pal J.I. Packer. This numeric literary device presents a representative rather than an exhaustive list that seeks to draw a particular attention to the final item as a focus of God's hatred. It is easy to agree that God hates the first 6 items: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies. It's easy, J.I. says, and his team says, it's easy, J.I. and his team says, to agree with that list. But it's also easy to overlook the 7th, and thus the author pulls the reader up short. The seventh is, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. And so, we've got to be people, this list says, that are not doing this list, that are not being people that are causing problems, but are leaning towards that right thing. And I know I keep saying it over and over and over again, but we're leaning towards that black rock, not the white rock. We're leaning towards not the flesh, not what we want, which would be stirring up the community in some conflict that we're getting going, that we're trying to get things going and try to get people to focus on us for some reason, right? But we need to be focusing on in people when people see us looking at people that are the opposite of this list. Okay, our eyes are doing the right things. Our tongue is doing the right thing. We're not killing people. We're not devising wicked schemes. We're not pouring out false witnesses, and we're somebody that brings peace and life to the community. And so that's why we are doing this sinless list. That's why we're working on this exercise. That's why we're training our hearts to reflect Jesus better today than we did yesterday. And so again, Proverbs 6, 16 through 19 is a great section of scripture to be concentrating on, thinking about as you're trying to work on sinning less today than you did yesterday.